How's everybody doing? This is Bob Icino from the Pure Exposure Growth Series. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors, E-Trade Financial, where you can get pretty much anything you need, trading-wise, active investing-wise. The facilities they have, I think, are unmatched. And CME Group, thanks again for sponsoring us. And with me today, I have my, I can call you a friend, can I, Scotty? Scotty?
I think we are.
President of Prosper Trading. And Scott, there's a ton going on between what we're looking at with the moves in precious metals, what we're looking at with the moves in the dollar, the sell-off we had Thursday and Friday in the equity markets, the deadline for the extension of unemployment benefits, and another stimulus package now talking about 1.5 trillion. Just give me real quick, 5 seconds, what's on your radar, because I want to get right into the markets with you.
Oh, yeah, and then we have the Fed, and we have all the big earnings this week, too. So, you know what? Everything is on my radar. But this week, it's really got to be about earnings, even though we're seeing this just incredible move in both the dollar and gold.
So what do you think about where this is at now from a perspective? Let's talk precious metals. I mean, you and I both know about the historical inverse correlation between the dollar and gold, specifically silver as well to a certain degree. Do you think that the dollar continues lower, and what's the pressure of that? Is it just U.S. stimulus, or is there a view that the U.S. is doing something else wrong?
You know, I think it's two things. It's stimulus, but I think it's more so that the rest of the world has now taken the opinion that maybe this is not the safe haven. You know, when we had the shutdown 3 months ago, and the concern, which we still have, but the real concern, the real, let's call it, I'm going to call it neuroses around the world about COVID. Where did people flock to? People flock to the dollar. Now that that is abated a little bit, now that that is eased a little bit, and I'm not talking about the severity of COVID, but I'm talking about the fact that maybe the U.S. is not that go-to, that safe haven. To me, that has as much pressure on, downward on the dollar as anything else. And what we're seeing now is just this incredible run to precious metals, gold and silver. And to me, Bob, and this is not going to sit well with a lot of the gold bulls out there. I think we've come too far too fast.
Wow. So the new record highs are gold right now. For anybody that hasn't been paying attention, I can't imagine you haven't. Highest level ever, right? Gold is at a new record high. We've got dollar at 18-month lows. So when I was coming up, we learned that when you buy a currency pair, it's like buying a share in that country's economy. So is that where you're going with that? The NIB, I always forget those initials, National Bureau of Economic Research.
Something like that.
Yeah. The think tank or the institute that's officially charged with telling us whether we're in a recession or not has said we already are. And that's unprecedented. Yeah. Normally, they don't say we're in it when we're in it. So do you think it's more about that buying a share of the economy thing? And if so, we're in a recession, does dollar go lower?
Yeah, and here's my big concern, and I agree with that. My big concern is a week from this Friday. Not this Friday, but I believe that's August 7th. When we get the big jobs numbers for July, when we got the June numbers and everybody was cheering and they were great numbers, right? So way more people going back to work, which was phenomenal. However, those numbers did not reflect the last 2 weeks of June when the shutdowns started to happen again. I firmly believe, and I'm not a glass half empty person by any stretch of the imagination, I firmly believe that these July numbers are going to be a major disappointment. And I kind of see this dollar softening and gold just out of the gates here as a run up into that number. That number that we're going to see right there may be reflective of what you're saying here in us being in a recessionary period.
All right, so let me ask you. This is a third of the S&P reports this week.
Yeah,
earnings. We've obviously got some huge names. I was talking to you before the show started, and I said, what are you focused on? And you said I could give you a list a mile long. Give me 4, 5, 6 names that you think are the most important for the overall move. And it's full disclosure for people watching. I am a subscriber to Prosper Trading personally. People should know that. So I get your option signals. I love them. I don't take every one of them because I like to think I have my own ideas. But quite frankly, sometimes your ideas are better than mine. So if you can give me just sort of a list of what's on your radar and then maybe something specific you're looking at.
Absolutely. I mean, the big ones, which I think are going to tip the scales to the overall market, are obviously Amazon, Google, or Alphabet. We've got Apple. Stocks like that, you can't discount them. You have to look at them. However, there's a belief out there that big tech is in somewhat of a rollover right now, maybe a sector rotation. I'm not of that belief. I'm of the belief that the little bit of profit taking that we've seen off the NASDAQ and off of these big stocks over the last, let's call it week, 10 days or so, has been just that, has been profit taking. Now, to dig down a little deeper into maybe a name that people aren't as focused on, there's one after the close today, NXPI Semiconductor. From a fundamental and an analytical standpoint here, I think this stock is going to be rip-roaring ready to go here. It's coming just off of the 50 and the 200-day moving averages. The semi space has been just as hot could be. And to me, this is one, maybe not market moving in the terms of an Amazon, an Alphabet, and an Apple, but this is one to really watch to the upside.
So that's NXPI. Do you think,
yes.
So tell me, are the earnings are after the close today? So
yes.
Calls, puts blown out already? I mean, is there a way specifically to play it? I mean, you don't have to give us a specific trade, but you're not going to want to buy calls or puts on an earnings day, right?
Well, you have to watch the volatility. So that's why you're saying that. So what I'm doing, actually, what I'm looking to do is maybe buy some time, maybe buy a upside calendar spread here, selling really, really expensive premium for this week and buying not so expensive premium going out a week or two, but on the upside, maybe looking around the 125 or 130 strikes. Stock closed on Friday around 115. And I think that the price that was built into the option market for an expected move was around $8 or $9. It was like an 8% move or so. That may change early this morning or so, but 125 to 130 target for me is what I'm looking at.
Do you like that sort of indicator? I mean, the options volatility, the markets will say, Tesla last week, there was an anticipation of a 15% move on the options. We didn't get anywhere near that. Do you like that, or do you think it's stock specific as to whether it's reliable or not?
I use that every single day, Bob. I teach that to my students every single day because without going heavily into the math behind why these moves are priced in, these moves, which are based on volatility and what comes down to it are supply and demand in the marketplace, these moves are priced in mathematically with a one standard deviation probability or about a 68% probability. Doesn't mean they're going to be right all the time. In the case of Tesla, it was completely far off. So people that had sold premium, huge winners. People that had bought premium in Tesla looking for that big move got knocked out of the park. They just got absolutely annihilated. But I use that calculation every single day in almost every single setup that I use trading options to determine which strikes I want to trade.
So NXPI, of those big names you mentioned, the Amazons, the Apples, which one of those do you think has the biggest possibility of missing? And possibly, we obviously saw the down move that we got Thursday and Friday in the NASDAQ specifically, but in all the indices. You mentioned that you're probably still bullish tech. I'm assuming you take that across the market because tech's been leading. Is that right?
Absolutely. Again, I firmly believe that the little sell-off that we've seen has been more profit-taking than it has been sector rotation, because I look out here for the next 3 months, the next 6 months, even the next year or so, and you see I don't see the landscape changing. I don't know if you do or not. We all hope and pray that we get a vaccine tomorrow, let alone, a month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months from now. We all hope and pray that that is the case, that we get it sooner rather than later. The reality of it is we're probably not going to. That, with the heightened sense of coming up to the election as well, I think tech is the place to be. I think some of the other big cap spaces here are going to struggle. I really do.
Yeah, Moderna got another, I think it was 472 million.
I see that.
Yeah. Do you have any opinion on any of the pharmaceutical stock? By the way, for full disclosure, I'm not playing them. It's just not a game I can get. I can't guess who the U.S. government is going to fund to the point and then buy all their vaccines after that. I don't have a guess at that. Do you have a favorite in there, or is that just off your radar?
I don't. No, I don't, because
very smart.
Like you just said there too, I don't want to flip a coin. And to me, that's a coin flip. Great. I may make it big one day and I may blow out the next day. So, if I see something that makes sense from a volatility standpoint, maybe I'll do something in one of those names. But it's impossible to pin any sort of, let's call it, inside knowledge onto where the Fed is going to, back the next pharmaceutical company.
Scott Bauer, Prosper Trading. Where can everybody find you? I know where to find you. I'm a subscriber, but where can everybody else find you?
Well, it's Prosper Trading Academy. Go to prospertrading.com. Like, PureXposure, we're all over social media as well. But, we do interact with our clients live on a day-to-day basis, myself, our other professional instructors, and, we teach people the markets.
All right, I've got to let you go. I'm going to bring you back, though, for a larger conversation, maybe with you and one of the other guests today. We'll probably get that done maybe this week or next week. Dude, thanks again, as always, for being here. We're going to be right back with Amelia Bourdeau from Market Compass LLC right after this quick break from our two sponsors.